Okay, who is ready to hear my story of doing this love manifestation thing? This is something that I was very, I guess prior to a few months ago, I was very, very shy about talking about. Okay? But now there we go. Look, can we go like this? There we go. I was very, very shy about talking about it because it was very embarrassing to talk about this sort of stuff because it is like it's just a little bit strange, I guess, in my mind at the time doing that sort of stuff. But we talked about doing this love manifestation thing, and I would just like to share exactly kind of how I did this and when I did it, and like some of the things that happened that was very, very interesting, to say the least. Okay, because there's a lot of things that happened when I did this. That's like, this is not a coincidence. All of these things, it's like I'm being guided on a certain path to experience certain things. So let's just kind of go back to the beginning here. So actually this whole thing begins over a year ago. Like maybe like a year and a half ago almost. Okay? So it's very, very interesting. So what I did, I don't know what made me even do with this, I guess. I don't know. I just felt really drawn to do some sort of like love manifestation thing. Okay? And the first thing that I did is I wanted positive intentions. I knew that doing a manifestation of any sort required positive intentions. So I really wasn't approaching it from, I am so lonely. I want someone to fill this void of loneliness within me. Okay? Because, yeah, at times I can feel very, very lonely, absolutely. But that wasn't my intention. Rather, I realized that my intention was really about sharing a similar life purpose in my life with someone else. So this is usually something that someone who is very dedicated to their own personal growth and development and helping other people. Okay? So that was really the core foundation. So really attracting someone who was very similar in those regards. That was really what the core foundation was. And that is where it all began, really. Like very simplistic. Okay? Very, very simplistic. And I would say I began doing this sort of thing maybe, let's say maybe June of 2024. So, yeah, I guess about a year and a quarter ago or so, depending on, when I'm actually talking about this right now. So what I did is I just performed a very simple meditation, and I initially just started just speaking some of the things within my mind about. It wasn't even initially even about attracting love into my life. It ended up turning, the manifestation ended up turning into that, but it was basically just about finding the right person who I can share a very similar life path and journey with. That's basically how it began. So I did the meditation within my mind, or I would listen to like a few audio recordings and something you can find online or whatever. But I just always found that I was just falling asleep during it. It just wasn't really the best thing for me, because I was just, it's very, very hard to just listen to that and then not fall asleep. So that is when I thought, I need to say this stuff out loud. I need to talk it out loud to attract this person. Talk it out loud to the universe as if I'm talking to the other person. That's kind of how it was. I'm like, no matter where this person is in the world, whether they are, like right down the street or on the other side of the world, I am talking and speaking to that person to meet that person, whoever it is that they are. And I don't know anything about them. Okay, so that is when I started to speak out loud and started to say those things. And I realized I was actually staying awake, and I was actually starting to feel something like much deeper. Okay, so as I continued to do that pretty much every single day for like when I started like May or June or whatever, whenever it was, okay? Started doing that every day. The more that I did it, the more specific it started, like the image started to come to me very naturally. It was very, very interesting. It was like over time, it was like the image was being built out within my mind as to more specifics about who this person is. So then that is when I started saying more specific things with the manifestation, imagining this person and saying it out loud of who this person is, whether it be, just physical, mental, and spiritual as well. And ultimately still going back to that main goal that I had, which was a similar life path. And I would imagine it and envision it and see that sort of stuff. And I would physically feel as though they were there with me. And it was very interesting because it started to incorporate more and more and more where I would feel as though their presence was right in front of me, and I would be able to like put my hand on their heart and they did the same thing. We would kind of go like that, and it just felt like it was a very, very intense experience, as if there was actually someone there, but there was no one physically there. So this can be, I guess, if you really think about it, could be connecting with this other person's spirit, because here in the physical realm, we're divided by distance, but spiritually in a different dimension, there is no distance. There is no, physical location that is different. It just is all the same. So it could have been me really connecting with whoever it is that this person was. Okay? So all of that was very emotional and very, very deep. So I was probably doing this almost every day, probably at least 5 or 6 times a week or so, for several weeks on end. And then, it became more specific and everything. But then after probably like a few months or so, I noticed there would be something I would feel inclined to do. Like it would say to me, like some sort of thought would come to me, whether it be from like a spirit guide or something, my higher self. It's like, you have to learn something. This is what you're going to learn. And it was interesting because I had thought about, like, is it really kind of guiding me in a certain way? It's like, I'm going to actually learn a new skill here, and something, something I'm going to learn here. And I thought about learning this sort of thing a long time ago, but I just kind of pushed it out of my memory. Like, it's like, I just really don't feel the need to really learn that. And all of a sudden, it just kind of comes back up that you have to do that. You have to learn that. It's like, okay, I will start learning that. So this is like several months in at this point. So I began learning that new skill and everything, kind of, focusing on those things. And eventually it ended up leading me, all sorts of ways, all sorts of paths. And I kind of saw where it was directing me. It was directing me towards, it's very, very interesting. It's like different avenues opened up, and I tried different avenues of different things here. And it's like, this one does not work. This one does work. So I continued down this way. It was like I was feeling very, very guided along this journey as I was continuing to do this manifestation for many, many months, okay? And then at some point towards the end of 2024, so this is probably after probably about 4 months is when I got the idea to start learning something. Probably 3 months after that, still doing it pretty much every day or so, that's when it started to guide me towards certain people. And I was noticing these people that I was starting to connect with and interact with, it was all things that I had asked for in this manifestation meditation. It wasn't just in one person, okay? Let me clarify this, because this is what's so interesting. There were multiple people, probably like let's say maybe 4 or 5 people, that I was noticing certain traits that I had asked for during this manifestation. And this was something that was very interesting. It's like, oh, I see. Because I've realized, interacting with people, over many years, you can't have everything you want in another person. It's just not possible. But there's certain things that some people are going to have that are going to fulfill certain things and other people don't have. So that is when I realized all these people that I'm connecting with, I manifested all of these people, and they're helping me along the way in this journey. Some people, perhaps they don't last as long. They just help me during a very specific part. Other people last a bit longer. Other people are the connection is very, very intense. So really, I think I'm still kind of in the middle of all of this, and it's been over a year at this point. I'm still kind of in the middle. I haven't done the manifestation in several months at this point, many months actually, because I didn't feel the need anymore to do it. That's what was so interesting. It's kind of like I just naturally stopped because I didn't feel the need to do it anymore. But I felt as though this was all guiding me on a certain path, doing all of these things and meeting the people that I had asked for. It's like, that is so fascinating. So I think in time, more clarity will be known about, whatever the situation is. And I think at the end, whatever the end result of any connection that I have is, that it will result in some sort of positive outcome for me that is going to be, what I had asked for and everything. So we shall see, because it is a very profound thing that happened. So I'm just sharing my experience to show you that it does indeed work. It may not work the way that you think it may work. It could work very differently, but it works in a way that you will attract the right people to you that are going to help you learn and grow, but it will kind of steer you in ways that you never thought imaginable. Like, I never thought a little bit more than a year ago that I would go through that sort of journey. But if I didn't do that manifestation, I don't think I would have been on this journey. I would not have been, because I would have not have met these people, because I would not have learned the skills that it was telling me to do. So it was so fascinating. It really was. So that is just my experience with this, and hopefully you can use this experience to really bring something positive into your life.